What's up, everybody? It's Wizzy back at another video. In this video, I'm going over how you can speed up your building as well as your editing. Before getting into the video, make sure to smack that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Hit that like button as well, and drop a comment below on your thoughts on the video. My first big tip is going to be to practice building maneuvers that use all the builds: cones, stairs, floors, and walls. You're going to want to get used to practicing tapping all of them interchangeably and quickly, and the more building pieces certain building maneuvers use, the better practice it's going to be. My next big tip is if you have a HUD that uses a lot of fingers, I would recommend using multiple fingers for build pieces. This is super helpful for me with my HUD. I set up my HUD so that every different build piece is used with a different finger, so I can literally instantly press like all 4 of the build pieces at once to like insta box and that kind of stuff. And I think it's super helpful. It does take a lot of time to get used to the muscle memory of this, but once you get it down, you can literally just like instantly build structures that use like all the builds. And I think it's super helpful, and I think long term, these types of HUDs that split up the workload between your fingers as much as you can will be best for like long term being good at the game. My next tip is if you feel like your building or editing is slow, I would definitely go into your settings where you can see your sensitivities, and I would amp up your building and editing sensitivity if they're not already high. I have both of mine on the max 200%. That's obviously like the extreme end of like the sensitivities, but if you're not on a higher building editing sensitivity than your normal sensitivity, I would definitely recommend turning it up, because it will for sure speed it up, because you'll be able to move around quicker on your screen. Something that I think helps with placement really well is aim training. If you can aim really well and you practice aiming, it's going to be a lot easier to hit all your edits and all your build pieces exactly where you want them to be. So definitely practice aiming, and I think it'll help in building and editing as well. One thing that's overlooked is how you place your character while you're doing the builds and stuff. So practicing like certain side jumps that have like really specific placement for where your character has to be running and where he has to time the jump and that kind of stuff like this, I think is really helpful for like overall movement and placing yourself perfectly where you want to be when it comes to building and editing. One thing I would like to mention is I play with 8 fingers, so it's a lot easier for me to split up all my builds for each finger. But if you don't play with like 8 fingers or something, you can definitely still split it up like 2 and 2 or something like that. And I definitely think that that is probably the best solution to help speed up building in specific, because it's just going to be a lot easier for you to press different builds quickly one after another if you're using different fingers. One thing that I know that is especially true for me is over practicing can really mess you up. So I know for me personally, if I spend more than like 20 minutes in creative, I'll start to mess up my builds and stuff, and it'll mess me up like for a little while too, even after I've taken like a break or something like that. So I think it's important to only build and practice like your builds and stuff in creative for as long as you're doing it at like your maximum focus level and that kind of stuff, because I feel like eventually over time you'll just like start to just go through the motions and not really be focused while you're practicing. And I just think that quality over quantity is really true when it comes to getting good at building and editing. Like, you only want to be practicing while you're practicing at your best kind of, and once you start just going through the motions, not really focusing, you're just going to build bad habits, and that'll mess you up long term. If this video was helpful at all, please do hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Mobile's been banned for a while, but we will still be uploading mobile content all the way through until it's unbanned. So definitely stay tuned for more. Peace.